Om Sairam friends, this is Venkatvasaasa.com. Back in 2008, when I was living in Mumbai, it was a very beautiful, holy Dattatreya Jayanti. I just walked out of the railway station in Borivali, and in Borivali East, there used to be a very beautiful small temple of Lord Dattatreya called Swayambhu Pasanam Dattatreya Mandir. It was in a kind of apartment complex. Nearby, there used to be an empty land, kind of a ground. And I didn't know much about Dattatreya at that time because living in South India, in Coimbatore, we don't worship much of Dattatreya here in Tamil Nadu. We worship Guru Bhagavan, the Dakshinamurti Swarupa of Lord Shiva. So anyway, but on that day, my friend said there's a huge queue from the main road leading to that Dattatreya Mandir in Borivali. And he said, okay, let's go there and have prasad and have darshan of Lord Dattatreya. From that time until now, my love for Lord Dattatreya has always increased, and I used to worship Lord Dattatreya. And then later on, I bought a very huge statue of Lord Dattatreya from Shirdi. Surprisingly, I sent it in a very affordable courier, but it came to Coimbatore, my home, intact. At the time, my mom was not well. She went through a minor procedure in 2009, and thankfully she was cured. So I used to recite Datta Stavam by heart, and even when during my father's last time, when he passed away, I recited Datta Stavam in memory of him. So let us see the incarnation of Lord Dattatreya. This is how I came in contact with Dattatreya. You people used to know that in Saibaba temple, if you are a regular, people used to greet you as Sai Ram. The priest in Nagasai Mandir in Coimbatore used to greet me as Datta Maharaj, because I used to speak about Dattatreya. I used to speak about the greatness of Lord Dattatreya, the incarnations of Dattatreya very often those days. So now let us see the 5 avatars of Lord Dattatreya. After this, there were no avatars of Dattatreya, to be very clear, because at least I want you to make sure that you worship one of the ancient saints in India. The modern saints are not really that good. So let us see the 5 incarnations of Dattatreya. First in 13th century, it was Sri Vallabha. Then Narasimha Saraswati, again somewhere in the end of 13th century, 14th century. He lived in Narsovwadi. Then Swami Samartha, that is in 18th century, but this Swami Samartha is the 4th incarnation of Dattatreya. So who is the 3rd incarnation of Dattatreya? Manikya Prabhu. In this photograph, the one who is above the head of Dattatreya, wearing this saffron dress is anyway, this one, Manikya Prabhu is here. And then you come to Swami Samartha, Akalkot Maharaj, and then the 5th final incarnation of Dattatreya is Shirdi Saibaba. So Sri Vallabha, Narasimha Saraswati, Manikya Prabhu, Akalkot Maharaj, also called as Swami Samartha, and Saibaba Shirdi. I will tell you the timing, approximate timing. 13th century, somewhere around 30-32 years, in Andhra Pitapuram, Sri Vallabha lived. You can learn more about him from this holy book called Sri Vallabha Charitra Amrutam. Narasimha Saraswati, he lived in Narsovwadi. Even today in Maharashtra, you can see a very beautiful temple and samadhi. In Gangapur too, he had a samadhi. The book Guru Charitra, this is a very beautiful edition of Guru Charitra, is very holy. And when Sai Baba lived, when Shirdi Saibaba lived, he used to instruct his devotees to read, do a parayana of Guru Charitra. To be honest, I don't know much about Manikya Prabhu, but he lived somewhere in 15th century. I believe his samadhi is in Karnataka. And then Swami Samartha, the great Akalkot Maharaj, I've read a lot of stories about him. He lived somewhere in 1850s. He incarnated, and he just, I believe he just lived there for around 22 years. He suddenly appeared in Akalkot, and he did lots of miracles. And once he had samadhi, people started realizing that Akalkot's greatness, the Dattatreya Swarupa of Akalkot Maharaj is now in Sai Baba facility. Because that is a very beautiful instant. Akalkot Maharaj and Shirdi Saibaba lived at the same time. But surprisingly, once somewhere around 1876, I believe, not sure about the exact timing, when Akalkot Maharaj had his samadhi, a devotee goes to Shirdi and has darshan of Sai Baba. And this devotee is a devotee of, used to worship Akalkot Maharaj. He says, Baba, I had a good darshan of you. Now give me Ashirwad to go to Akalkot to have darshan of that samadhi. And Baba tells him, see, now that incarnation of, now that Swarupa of Akalkot Maharaj, he himself is here in Shirdi in my form. So basically, is why we call Sai Baba alone as Samartha Sadguru. Samartha is incarnation. The one who is avatar of any god or goddess is incarnation, also called as Samartha. Sadguru is someone. A guru is someone who is born to a parent, a human parent here, and they are actually humans, but due to self-realization, due to God realization, due to the purity in them, they become guru. And Sai Baba was a guru initially for the first few years in his life, the first few decades in his life, from his birth. He was a Sadguru, a guru. And the moment Akalkot Maharaj had his samadhi sometime in 1876, his Swarupa, the Datta Swarupa, came to Sai Baba. And that is the reason Sai Baba is both the guru, a Sadguru, and also a Samartha. And that is why we call Sai Baba as Samartha Sadguru. Obviously, that is the reason we all love Sai so much, because he is a very peculiar guru incarnate in this Kali Yuga. And Sai Baba is the most lenient of all gurus, all the thousands of gurus, the true gurus from the ancient India. Sai Baba is the most lenient, the most forgiving of all. But anyway, as a Sai devotee, it is good to learn about all these Datta Swarupa. I have also written an article in starsha.com about it. I also go through that. Keep chanting Sai's holy name. I used to chant Digambara, Digambara, Sripada Vallabha Digambara, 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 Sripada Vallabha Digambara, 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 Sripada Vallabha Digambara. Om Sai Ram, Om Sai Ram, Om Sai Ram, Om Sai Ram.